The friendship Gimli would share with Legolas is treasured by many as they would build an alliance between the elves and the dwarves. Previously, the elves and the dwarves would have trouble seeing eye to eye, which was evident during the ruin of Doriath when the dwarves went there. Their skills were mainly concerning the work of metal, and they were much needed in Menegroth, where they went in great companies. The great craftsmen of Nogrod went to Doriath, planning to remake the Noglamir where the Silmaril lay. This led to a feud between elves and dwarves as their lust of the Silmarils became rage. Then the dwarves looked upon the work of their fathers, and they beheld with wonder the shining jewel of Fëanor, and they were filled with a great lust to possess them and carry them off to their far homes in the mountains. But they dissembled their mind and consented to the task. Thus, Legolas and Gimli would have a clash before Moria about why a friendship between the elves and dwarves waned. "I have heard both," said Gandalf, "and I will not give judgment now. But I beg you too, Legolas and Gimli, at least to be friends and to help me. I need you both." They would later share many moments together as Gimli would leave Parthgalen and join forces with Aragorn and Legolas after the death of Boromir and the Fellowship splitting in Amon Hen. They would try to follow Merry and Pippin and go to Isengard and southern Gondor, eventually going to Minas Tirith. After the fall of Sauron, Gimli would bring some of the dwarves south from Erebor and become Lord of the Glittering Caves, while his friend Legolas would also bring elves south of Mirkwood into Ithilien. Gimli would forge gates of Mithril and steel in Minas Tirith in order to replace those broken by the Witch King of Angmar, along with the dwarves in Gondor and Rohan. After Aragorn died, Gimli would go along with Legolas over the sea to the Undying Lands, being the first and only dwarf to do so. We have heard tell that Legolas took Gimli, Glóin's son, with him because of their great friendship, greater than any that has been between elf and dwarf. If this is true, then it is strange indeed that a dwarf should be willing to leave Middle-earth with any love, or that the Eldar should receive him, or that the lords of the West should permit it. But it is said that Gimli went also out of desire to see again the beauty of Galadriel, and it may be that she, being mighty among the Eldar, obtained this grace for him. More cannot be said of this matter. So it is unknown who wrote the passage in Appendix A, though it seems like there are a few possibilities. The hobbits who have written or edited the Red Book of Westmark, where the idea was introduced, or Chancellors of Gondor, as the book was also Gondorian and there it was called the Thane's Book. Legolas knew he would leave Middle-earth one day. It was expected that he would, out of world weariness, and that he would one day be summoned by the Valar. But the promise made to the Eldar, for their sufferings in the struggle with the Prime Dark Lord, had still to be fulfilled, that they should always be able to leave Middle-earth, if they wished, and pass over sea to the true west, by the straight road, and so come to Erisea, but so pass out of time and history never to return. Gimli was one of the rare exceptions of mortals who will go to the Undying Lands as a friend of Legolas and servant of Galadriel. Then Legolas built a great ship in Ithilien and sailed down Anduin and so over sea, and with him, it is said, went Gimli the dwarf. And when that ship passed an end, was come in the Middle-earth of the Fellowship of the Ring. That would be the last of Legolas and Gimli in Middle-earth.